ready to get your Pixar on? Let's do it. Hey guys, it is Christian here, and today I am going to rank all 23 Pixar films from my least favorite to my favorite, also known as from worst to best. So if you're new here, please like and subscribe and tell me how would you rate all 23 of these movies. We're going to disagree, and that's okay. Just don't bash your opinions in the comment section. Also, please do not solicit anyone takes or send inappropriate comments or spams, or else you will get blocked. You have been warned. So this list is completely subjective, and this list was completely different before I rewatched all of these films. So with all that said, let's get started with the ranking. So easily coming in last place for me is Cars 2. This is personally, in my opinion, the worst Pixar film. But I won't say worst like it's a bad film, because I don't think it's terrible. I think it's just mediocre. The animation is definitely great. The racing scenes are pretty good. Some of the characters are fine. But the writing and most of the characters are absolutely atrocious. Mater is very irritating. I don't really like Mater. The one character I did like though was Michael Caine. I'm Spy. Finn McMissile. Yeah, Finn McMissile. But it's a spy film instead of a racing film, and Cars is supposed to be about racing. It feels like a direct-to-DVD sequel, to be honest with you. Even with the racing scenes, they constantly get interrupted by random spy crap, which the audience doesn't care about. Lightning McQueen is pushed to the side, and Mater is not lead character material, which leads for an overall pretty mediocre film. I don't think it's terrible. There are some fine moments there, some scenes that made me laugh. But all in all, it is not a great film. So yeah, that's easily last place. Coming in at number 22 is going to be Brave. Brave. A lot of people love this film, and I can respect that. But personally, Brave is just average. I could never get into Brave. The animation's beautiful. It has some heartwarming moments. That's it. The characters range from forgettable at best to unlikable at worst. To be honest, Merida is personally, in my opinion, is so unlikable and so annoying. I personally think she is the worst Disney princess, and dare I say it, the worst Pixar protagonist. Even worse than Mater, Arlo, and Lightning McQueen. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. I don't care. She does improve at the end, but in the beginning, she's so unlikable. So it's hard to root for her. She constantly says it's not her fault that she changed her mom into a bear. And when in the entire context of the story, we obviously know it is her fault because she got the witch to make a cake to turn her mom into a bear. And then there's a really awkward scene in the film when the witch says, Fortnite. Oh my god. The movie also has some awful humor that you would find in like a C-level DreamWorks film. And the action is really anticlimactic. A lot of people love the song Touch the Sky. Personally, I think it's pretty forgettable. So yeah, Brave is just not really great personally. I'm definitely not the biggest Brave fan. Coming at number 21 is going to be A Bug's Life. This one it's good, but it's very forgettable for me. I almost forgot it immediately after I finished watching it. The animation is probably the most dated of Pixar. The ants' designs look very dated. Some of the characters are enjoyable though, like Heimlich, Dot, Hopper. But Flick is just so boring. He's just the generic protagonist that wants to help and pursue his dreams and stuff. and the movie doesn't really hide the generic plot. I would take this over Ants, though. This movie's better than Ants, personally. But this movie never... I kind of felt this movie to be a little bit mean-spirited in the script. And it's not a cast of characters I love being with. Particularly with Ada and Flick. Like, the movie's fine. Yeah, it's probably the most dull Pixar world I've seen. Comparing it to the other Pixar worlds, this is the most dull. So, Bug's Life is good, but it's barely good. Like, this movie's just so forgettable. I take something like my number 20 choice any day. Speaking of number 20, coming at number 20 is going to be The Good Dinosaur. So yeah, this movie's pretty decent in my opinion. I've never gotten the hate for it. I think the background designs are beautiful to look at. The character designs are, they're okay for Pixar. But the issue is they don't feel like Pixar character designs. They feel like DreamWorks. Same thing with Brave. Brave feels like a DreamWorks film. Good Dinosaur also feels like a DreamWorks film, particularly with its art style. Brave definitely has a Pixar art style, but in the inside it's kind of DreamWorksy for me. But this movie is definitely extremely DreamWorksy if you look at the art style, all because of the cartoony dinosaurs. And it kind of blends well, not really, kind of. But yeah. Some of the characters I kind of liked, like the Papa Dinosaur and Butch. Some characters I kind of thought were meh, like Arlo and Spot. And then there were just some characters that I couldn't stand, like Thundercloud. Easily the worst Pixar villain of all time. Even worse than Miles Axelrod and... yeah. Even worse than Miles Axelrod for Cars 2. It doesn't really feel Pixar-y for me. For every heartwarming moment of them playing with fireflies, you have a moment with them getting high on berries. Yeah, I just can't really... That scene is not my cup of tea. So, it feels like for every good moment, there's a bad moment, and with every bad moment, then there's a good moment. So yeah, I just think Good Dinosaur is... I think it's a decent movie, but it's mildly inconsistent throughout. Coming in at number 19 is going to be The First Cars. Yep, The First Cars. This one was always pretty forgettable for me, too. I don't really like these characters. They're pretty forgettable and pretty annoying. Particularly Mater. Mater's the most annoying Pixar character, probably. And Lightning McQueen's very unlikable in the first half of the film. Chick Hicks is just a not really mediocre villain. The racing scenes are stellar, though. The animation looks pretty good. Hold on. Some of the characters are fine, I guess. But I think the Radiator Springs is just a boring place to be in. It's so plain. And there's no flavors to it. No flavors. So yeah, Cars is just it's a good movie, but I think it's a decent enough film. Like I could rewatch it any day. Oh yeah, and the movie's too long. It's too long. Incredibles 2 has a reason to be as long as it is. This movie, why is it an hour and 57 minutes? It's almost 2 hours long. Too long for a Cars movie, to be honest with you. The issue I have with the Cars franchise is that they're very long films. So yeah, overall, I think it's decent enough. I could rewatch it, but not really one I care to rewatch. And this one's kind of similar because coming out number 18 is Cars 3. This is probably my favorite Cars movie. Probably because it fixed the wrongs of Cars 2. But there's some weak stuff in here. Like, most of the new characters are pretty forgettable. and most of the old characters do absolutely nothing, which means they're not really developed throughout the entirety of the franchise. But the racing scenes are good. Jackson Storm is a decent villain. Smokey is basically like Doc Hudson, but he's still cool. And Cruz Ramirez is a fine character. A lot of people didn't like the ending. Personally, I thought it wrapped up the trilogy pretty good. Unless they decide ruining and give us Cars 4. Please don't do it. No one likes these movies. I kind of like the first. I kind of like Cars 1, Cars 3, but majority of people I know hate the Cars films. So yeah. And also, I don't know why, but it's basically a lot like the first film. It's almost like a soft reboot, kind of the first Cars. Kind of like Force Awakens was a soft reboot to A New Hope. There's a lot to appreciate in Cars 3, I think, which makes it probably my favorite one. But I don't really think that this film is particularly top tier Pixar. And I love top tier Pixar, so yeah. Coming in at number 17 is going to be Monsters University. This is a pretty enjoyable prequel that takes a lot of elements from college films and puts it in the Monsters Monsters universe to make a really enjoyable prequel. The story is definitely not as strong as the first, borrowing heavily from a lot of college films. Johnny Worthington is not a good villain at all. Some of the new characters are cool, but this movie, I think it's a fine movie. I think it's pretty good. But it's not a movie that I've ever found overly enjoyable. I don't really think it's overly funny. I'm not really sure. I don't really think it lived up to the first one too much. So yeah, overall, Monsters Inc. does have enjoyable animation. As same with almost all the other movies I listed. They all have enjoyable animation, but yeah, I'm just not overly sure if this prequel works. I think it's probably the most unnecessary Pixar sequel or prequel, to be honest with you. I don't really think it needed to exist. I did like some of the fan service, though, and some of the cameos from characters like Roz and the Abominable Snowman. But I don't know, like, it's a good movie. It's a really good movie, but not really one that's extremely watchable. Coming in at number 16 is going to be Finding Dory. Finding Dory is actually really great. I really enjoyed it. It has great voice acting, really great characters. The new characters are pretty enjoyable. Some of them are kind of forgettable, but some of them are really enjoyable. The animation is gorgeous, just like the first movie. I love all the returning characters. They don't really do anything with Nemo and Marlin, though, which is kind of a downgrade. And it does take some plot elements from the first one, which is also kind of a downgrade. But I really enjoyed Finding Dory for what it did, and I didn't really find it all that unnecessary, unlike Monsters University or any of the Cars sequels. So yeah, it's a pretty movie, enjoyable animation, great story, amazing characters. Love it. I kind of found the truck scene to be a little pointless, but I don't know, it's a good movie. I think it's a really great Pixar film, and so yeah. Coming in at number 15 is going to be Incredibles 2. Incredibles 2, I really enjoyed Incredibles 2 for what it was. I think 14 years in making, I think it was worth the wait. Really amazing animation, really enjoyable characters, particularly some of the newer characters like Winston, Dever, and the Wannabe Supers are also pretty cool. And I loved seeing all the characters return, like the Incredibles family and Frozen and Edna Mode. I loved seeing Jack in the spotlight. The raccoon scene was perfect. The main issue I did have with Incredibles 2, though, was with the main villain, Screenslaver, also known as Evelyn Dever. She is really generic, and it was extremely predictable. But all in all, Incredibles 2 is really good. Probably one of the better Pixar sequels. It was 14 years in the making, and I think it was worth the wait. Coming in at number 14 is going to be Onward. This one was also pretty enjoyable. I think the story was extremely predictable, but I really enjoyed a lot of the characters. Ian and Barley. A lot of people didn't like Barley. I personally really enjoyed Barley. Ian, great character. Some of the other characters are a little forgettable, but they're still good characters. The heart, I think the animation does look extremely DreamWorksy, personally, which is why I think I would take a point off on the animation. But still, it definitely has the heart of a Pixar film, though, and a really amazing ending. So yeah, overall, Onward, a lot of people hate Onward, particularly Inside Out fan 2001. I respect your opinion, but I really enjoyed Onward for the most part. So yeah, it's not an amazing film, nowhere near amazing, but I really like it. Coming in at number 13 is going to be Ratatouille. Remy, the Ratatouille, the rat of all my dreams. I praise you, oh Ratatouille. Oh my gosh. Thanks, TikTok. Now every time I think of this film, I'm going to have to sing that stupid song. So yeah, as you guys all know, TikTok ruined the heck out of this film. It was an atrocious musical. So yeah. But we're not here to talk about the musical. We're here to talk about the movie. Ratatouille is such a great film. Beautiful animation. It's very mature. And I love all the characters, like Remy, the rat. Oh my gosh. Remy, Emile, and Django were great characters. I also loved all the human characters, like Linguini and Colette. I've kind of found Skinner a little bit annoying. And I kind of had it kind of felt like near the ending, the movie would never end, because every single time I thought it was going to end, it kept going on, it kept going on, it kept going on. It kind of felt a little tedious, but that's nothing I can blame the film for. And the story is very generic, typical main character wants to pursue a dream, family doesn't approve, does it anyways. But my two favorite characters in this film are Gusto, because he's a really inspirational character. And then my personal favorite character in the film, unpopular opinion, Anton Ego, voiced beautifully by Peter O'Toole. So yeah, this movie is really enjoyable. It's one of my favorite movies of 2007. And it came out the year I was born. So yeah, Ratatouille, great film. Coming in at number 12 is going to be Toy Story 4. This is the only Toy Story movie not to make my top 10, but this movie is really amazing. I really loved it. Beautiful animation, probably the best looking Toy Story film to date. Amazing characters. I loved all the new characters like Forky and Bo Peep and Duck. Bo Peep's not a new character. What am I talking about? Bo Peep gets a massive upgrade. And that massive upgrade is better than the very tiny role she had in the first two. But I loved all the new characters. I loved Forky. I loved Ducky and Bunny, voiced beautifully by Key and Peele. Duke Kaboom, voiced by Keanu Reeves, was also a really amazing addition. Oh my gosh. I thought the old characters were kind of sidelined, which is kind of a downgrade. And the story is a little predictable and definitely a little bit of a downgrade from the first three. But overall, Toy Story 4 is a really amazing film that I really enjoyed. Like, all the films from here all the way to my number 1, all 5 out of 5 films for me. Coming in at number 11 is going to be WALL-E. Yep, WALL-E. This movie's so great, so great. Made me cry. Probably one of the 5 best looking Pixar films. But the animation is spectacular. A lot of people find it overrated and think that Kung Fu Panda should have won. Personally, I respect your opinion, but I love this movie more than Kung Fu Panda. I think it has a really good story. I love how they could tell a story without a lot of dialogue. I could still get emotional and I could still laugh even without the dialogue. So yeah, I loved Wally, I loved Eve, I loved all the characters. I didn't really like Otto. Otto was kind of a forgettable villain and it felt extremely pointless. So yeah. But yeah, I still enjoyed Wally for what it did. And I think it's one of the most artistic Pixar films and really phenomenal animation. And a beautiful score by Thomas Newman. So yeah, Wall-E is amazing. Okay, we're in the top 10 now. We're going to say the top 10 is going to be Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2 is a lot of people's favorite Toy Story film. It's one of my favorites. I really love it. Beautiful, decent, great animation. Not as amazing as some of the other later Pixar films. Still good. I love all the new characters that they introduced, like Jessie and Bullseye and Stinky Pete and Zurg. I loved the Empire Strikes Back reference. No, Buzz, I am your father. No. The returning characters were great. It's probably one of the best written Pixar films. Like, the writing is absolutely brilliant. I didn't think it was as strong as the first film, the story, but I really enjoyed this one. It did the sequel trope where they split up the main characters, but it worked. Like, it actually worked. So, yeah, overall, I was a huge fan of Toy Story 2. Coming at number 9 is going to be Up. Up, masterpiece. A lot of people's favorite Pixar films, like Jay Vader's. It's Jay Vader's favorite Pixar film, and I can't blame him. This movie's a masterpiece. Beautiful animation. Amazing characters. Carl. Russell's a little annoying, but yeah, I loved Doug. Charles Muntz isn't really I think Charles Muntz is a good villain, but the way they revealed him was kind of stupid. It kind of forced, but yeah. I love the journey. I love the journey between them. And the first 15 minutes is probably some of the best filmmaking of all of cinema. I'll say it. Some of the best filmmaking of cinema history. I think it's true. I think it's some of the best. It's a masterpiece. But I don't think it's just the best 15 minutes that's good. I think it's all of the film that's great. So yeah, I love Up to death. It's one of my favorite Pixar films. One of my favorite movies of 2000. Probably my favorite movie of 2009. Pete Docter is the god of Pixar. We all know this. Spoiler, all of his films are in my top 10 because they are phenomenal. Coming at number 8 is probably lower than some of you guys would like, but coming at number 8 for me is The Incredibles. The Incredibles, love this film. Really love it. Great animation, great characters. One of the best written Pixar films of all time. Probably like one of the top 5. Probably one of the top 3 best written Pixar films. It is so well written. Well, no, probably at least top 5, because most of them on the top of my list I think are a little better written. But beautiful writing in this film. The animation is a little dated, but it still looks fine. And this has one of the best cast of characters in any animated film ever. I love the Incredibles family, I love the dynamic, I love Frozone, I love Endemoda. Syndrome is one of the best Pixar villains of all time. So yeah, I love The Incredibles. So I'm not sad that it's not only number 8. But if you guys want have it higher, that's totally fine. Coming in at number 7 for me is going to be Coco. This movie, beautiful movie. Love it. It's one of the best looking Pixar films on an animation standpoint. The animation's gorgeous. It's beautiful to look at. at the Land of the Dead is so colorful, and Santa Cecilia is so realistic. I love this cast of characters, from Miguel to Dante to Hector, or through the rest of Miguel's family, through Mama Imelda to Ernesto de la Cruz. Ernesto de la Cruz kind of steals elements from Charles Muntz and Waternoose, but he's a really phenomenal villain. Loved him. The writing is amazing. The humor is amazing. A lot of people judged it for not being too funny and stuff, but I think it's hilarious. A lot of people wanted Dante to fall into the hole when he spotted Miguel and Hector, but I wouldn't want that. I just want my Dante to stay safe. But yeah, Good Dinosaur is such a oh my gosh. Coco is such a phenomenal Pixar film that I really loved. Coming in at number 6 is going to be probably another one that's lower than a lot of you would like, but Toy Story 3. Yeah, number 6 is Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3, it's basically a prison escape film, but I love it. Beautiful animation, amazing characters, from all the returning characters to the buttload of new characters. Lotso is, in my opinion, the best Pixar villain of all time. That's it, even better than Syndrome. It's hilarious, it's heartwarming, it's incredibly gut-punching, especially when the toys are almost about to die. And the ending gets me every time. It gets everyone every time. It's phenomenal. Well, congrats to Toy Story 3. You rock. These 5 Pixar films, it was so difficult to put these in order, because all 5 of these movies are masterpieces of cinema. I think it was easy number 5, but these 4 are in my top 30 favorite movies of all time. But yeah, number 5 is Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo is fantastic. Finding Nemo is amazing. From the beautiful animation, probably top 5 best looking Pixar films of all time. You have this movie. It's phenomenal. I love the characters, from Nemo to Dory to Marlin. Every single character rocks. It's absolutely fantastic. I really love it. The story is kind of predictable, but it's still good. So yeah, overall, I love Finding Nemo for what it does. It's phenomenal, beautiful, hilarious. One of the best Pixar films I've ever seen in my entire life. Coming in at number 4, yet another one that might be lower than you guys might like. Number 4 is Toy Story. I really enjoyed this film. Beautiful animation. The animation's dated. I'm going to say it, the animation's dated, but I gave it a pass because it's the first stop-motion animation film. I meant the first CG animated film. Sorry, I can't talk today. Great characters, great dynamic between Woody and Buzz. One of the best Pixar duos ever. I love every single character in this film. Just phenomenal. Woody's a little unlikable in the beginning, and the toys are very unlikable in the middle, but still fantastic film. Definitely one of the best written Pixar films. Written by 3 screenwriters, John Lasseter, Joss Whedon, and Joel Cohen. Yeah, great writing, great characters. I love it. So this top 3 was so difficult, but this is the order I came up with. Coming in at the top 3 is going to be Inside Out. Inside Out, phenomenal. Probably one of the Pixar movies that makes me cry the most. It's one of the most beautiful looking Pixar films. One of the most beautiful looking animated films ever. And one of the best. It's so colorful. It's so beautiful to look at. It's so imaginative. It's so creative. The locations are great. The characters are amazing. From disgust to anger to fear to Riley to Bing Bong to sadness, and particularly Inside Out fans' mascot, Joy. definitely a phenomenal movie. One of the best written films of all time. Really smart and clever writing. Really great characters. Really funny. Really beautiful. Very sad. I felt all the emotions while watching Inside Out and these other two movies. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Monsters, Inc. Monsters, Inc. I used to think that this is like not even a top 5 Pixar film, but rewatching it, I think it's one of the best animated films of all time. I'll say it. Mike and Sully are such a wonderful duo. Probably my favorite Pixar duo. I really love the animation style. A lot of people think it's dated, but I don't really find it all too dated. Boo is adorable. I loved Waternoose. I loved Randall Boggs. Every single character in this film is phenomenally well developed. It has really amazing script. It's one of the funniest Pixar films of all time. And one of the saddest endings to a Pixar film. And one of the happiest endings to a Pixar film. So yeah, overall, love Monsters, Inc. It was my favorite for a long time. But then came something even better. And my number 1 favorite Pixar movie of all time is Soul. Coming in first place, coming in number 1 it's Soul. I 100% agree with Frozen 2 fan 2004 that this is the best Pixar film ever made. I think it's the best looking Pixar film. I think it has the best writing to a Pixar film. Joe Gardner is probably my favorite Pixar character. 22 is phenomenal. Every single character is well written. The humor is hilarious. It has moments that make you laugh, moments that make you cry, moments that make you smile. It has a phenomenal message about just living life. And the score is probably tied with Up for the best Pixar score of all time. This score is one of the most creative scores of all time. I think it solidified itself as one of my favorite movies of all time. So yeah, and Soul is just a masterpiece in every way. And it also brought my favorite animal from a Pixar movie. It's a little kitty. It's Mr. Mittens. Hi. So yeah, that is why Soul is my number 1 best favorite Pixar movie of all time. So yeah, who knew that the newest would be the best, personally? So yeah, that is my ranking of all 23 Pixar films. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and tell me what did you think about this ranking. Please not send links to dating websites or send inappropriate comments or spams, or else you will get blocked. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!